All right, welcome back to Rob Schmitt tonight. The price of food is skyrocketing. You've noticed that. And it's actually even changing the way Americans eat. And farmers are really getting pinched by Biden's disastrous policies. Take a listen.
There are things that we have to buy. There's something we had to buy that 2 years ago cost us $24. Last year was about $46. This year it is costing us $96. Please understand, food prices are going to go up. You want to act like it's the farmer's fault. It is not the farmer's fault. We're barely making it to grow the stuff so you guys are able to get it.
Trust us, nobody honestly thinks it's the farmer's fault. Some Democrats are actually brave enough to admit why all of this is happening. Take a listen.
There are several culprits. There's Biden and what he's done, and it's not irrelevant, but it's not.
And what is that?
Well, that is all the spending, basically.
Yeah,
the American Rescue
relief,
Plan,
the relief
the $1,400 checks, the $2 trillion that you and I have talked about a lot that's on the sidelines. Half of that's government money that we gave people to spend, and now they're trying to spend it, so you get inflation.
Joining me now is Papa John's founder, John Schnatter. Good to have you on, sir. It is a scary time for the food industry, isn't it?
It's extremely scary, and with fossil fuels, everything at Papa John's runs on fossil fuels. We've got the farmer who's hurting and being squeezed. Our cheese, for example, comes from dairy cows, which feed on grass and corn and alfalfa. We've had a bad drought out in South Dakota and Michigan and Minnesota, late cold spell, light rain, and then we got a drought over in Kansas. So we were getting a lot of cheese is our number one commodity. It's 40%, 35% of our food cost, and it's already at $2.25 a pound. And with these pressures on these farmers for feed, that could go much higher.
Could go much higher. And the farmers, you feel bad because, I mean, farmers have always had it tough. I mean, it's gotten tougher and tougher over the years, and then they just tack this onto it. Take a listen to a farmer in Oklahoma.
It's like taking a 25, 35, 45% cut in your income. We're not a big operation by any means, but we'll use 500, 600, 700 gallons of diesel a day. Fertilizer prices have tripled, and part of that's because a lot of our fertilizers come from natural gas.
Talking about fertilizer, he's talking about fuel, of course, and with the comments that he just made on fuel, here is the Biden White House with their perspective.
Why not just grow more here in the U.S., though?
Because we don't need to do that. What we need them to do is, with the oil that's out there, we need them to refine that oil so that the capacity could go up and then prices would go down.
What's your take? I mean, when you listen to this White House, and they keep doing this, they are playing all sides of this thing because they have no clue what to do. They want to sit there and tell us that we don't need more oil in this country, while at the same time, they're begging oil companies to produce more of it. They came into the White House saying they were going to get rid of oil and gas. That was essentially a big part of their campaign. And now they're trying to tell these oil companies to invest so that they can find more oil and make oil prices and gas prices cheaper. I mean, nothing makes sense.
Well, if your neighbor loses their job, it's called a recession. If you lose your job, it's called a depression. And if Biden loses his job, it's called a recovery. This guy's just a bad leader. And great leaders spot forest fires when they're brush fires. You combine that with an ideology that is just dark. It's a win at all cost, no regard for humanity, and it causes suffering on people that make our country great, the middle class. I have a new saying that when people are done wrong, it's just not right, whether it's me or you or anybody else. And what this administration has done to the middle class, the backbone of our country, is just absolutely horrific.
And these are the great irony is that, these are the people that they promise they're saving. You know, if you look at what the Democrat Party they claim they stand for, it's saving the middle class, it's unions, it's protecting the low income and the middle income people from the wealthy out there that they've deemed as the worst of all of us. And in the end, they are gutting their base more than any party ever has.
Yes, 10, 15 years ago, the Democratic Party was the party of the working class. That's now switched to the Republican Party. And the good news in this, and there's very little good news, and we'll get to that here in a second, is that the damage that this administration's done with this ideology could carry on for decades. I think the information moves so quick. People see what's going on. In the Great Depression, you didn't know what was going on in D.C. We know what's going on in D.C., every minute of the day. So the amount of damage this ideology and this president have done police, border, Afghanistan, not protecting Supreme Court justices, inflation, putting small business out of business. I mean, it's just so bad. And I don't see it getting any better with this leader. So the first thing we do, we got to get rid of this leader, this leadership, this ideology, which is, I think, is going to happen in November. And then you never want to lose hope, Rob. Hope is the number one thing. Like Jimmy V says, never, ever give up. And the light at the end of the tunnel is Americans. Americans were raised by the greatest generation. People that fought for this country in World War II, they're the backbone. They know right from wrong. They're the 1,000 lights that need to shine up. That's the light in the tunnel. Each and every one of us to say enough's enough. Yeah. This is crazy. This is hurting our kids and grandkids. We got to put a stop to this and get back to our better ways.
Very well said. John Schnatter, founder of Papa John's Pizza. It's a good pizza. Thank you, sir, very much. We appreciate the time.